Now, Project Edward wouldn't be possible without the support of our valued partners and sponsors. We're very proud to announce that for 2022, our platinum sponsor is National Highways, and I'm pleased to be joined by Jeremy Phillips, who's Head of Road User Safety, about what road safety means to National Highways and why they're supporting Project Edward.
Well, I think quite famously, National Highways has safety as its number one imperative, and that includes our approaches to road user safety as well as our own staff and our supply chain. And I think the thing that kind of encompasses and encapsulates the approach that we take to achieve that number one imperative is that we are a safe system organization. We adopted safe system approaches back in 2015, and in fact we've spent the last year kind of taking another look at that and refining our thinking about what safe systems approaches looks like in an organization like ours, and what our role is in a system that includes more than just our core business of providing safe roads.
Let's focus on the road user as part of the safe system, and in particular the need for compliance. So how important is that?
That's an interesting term to use in this context, isn't it? Compliance. But you're absolutely right. The road user is integral to a safe system approach. The safe system declares that road safety is a shared responsibility amongst multiple stakeholders, and our customers are a key part of that. Compliance, I would describe as the most basic common denominator of behaviour on a network like ours. So we absolutely require compliant behaviour as a minimum standard rather than the be all and the end all for road safety. I would consider it to be the starting point upon which we can build much greater levels of safety, because if we don't have compliance with the basic rules and regulations that govern safety for us all, then we're always starting on the back foot. So my approach to compliance is to encourage people to adopt that minimum standard of behaviour and then build on that to see what other behaviours and other choices we can encourage people to make that will improve their safety and the safety of others further.
What do you know about the risk-taking and offending drivers that use your network?
It's an interesting time to address that question, actually, because we've just commissioned a report, for example, on single vehicle collisions on the network, and single vehicle collisions are the things that you might consider to be kind of unforced errors. So there's no other factors involved other than the driver of the vehicle, the highway, and no other interaction with any other vehicle on the network. So it kind of brings into stark relief some of those behaviours which are complicit either in the collision happening or the severity of the outcome. And a couple of things that we've discovered in that research you might find surprising. So still very high prevalence of people, whether they're drivers or other vehicle occupants, not wearing a seatbelt in the vehicle. And there's a very high correlation between the survivability of those incidents and the wearing of seatbelts. So if you're looking for quick wins, just following that one basic rule, which 98% of the population do seem to follow, but that 2% is actually well overrepresented in the more serious collisions that we've got. But also the number of single vehicle collisions that are kind of predetermined by losses of concentration. So the suggestion perhaps that the driver isn't completely present in the moment leading up to the collision occurring. So drifting across the carriageway, possibly being fatigued, influenced still by drink and by drugs, sleepiness, and in-vehicle distraction, whether that's coming from passengers or from in-vehicle technologies. All of these things are really basic, well understood, well-worn things to understand and to deal with. Relatively quick wins because they require really minor adjustments in people's mindset and their willingness to commit to the driving task when they're actually driving. That's all that we're asking for, is for people to commit to the task for as long as the vehicle's in motion. Relatively simple, pretty quick win.
Simple question, Jeremy. Why are you supporting Project Edward?
Well, we really like the fact that Project Edward is an entirely collaborative exercise. It reflects our belief that we can't do this alone, and also it reflects that safe system philosophy that actually casualty reduction is a shared responsibility across multiple stakeholders. And Project Edward is a really good kind of showcase for that kind of activity in practice.
Well, we've got a packed week of action, Jeremy. What are you most looking forward to during the coming days?
I think, it's always good to see, I'd say good, it's always inspiring actually to see really good innovation, good practice and collaboration happening on such a large scale across a lot of organizations with one single purpose in mind, and that's to reduce road trauma. So it's that kind of approach to deliver that I think is going to deliver some really tangible and sustainable benefits. And listen, I can only commend Project Edward for providing a focus and a showcase for all that hard work.